I am Alvin Alexander with your news for today, April 10th, 2010. Grace Joseph of Kingshill, a bank employee, was pronounced dead this morning at the Princess Margaret Hospital at about 2 a.m. after an accident which led her and a co-worker, Giselle John Baptist, into a deadly smash-up on the Les Point Road this morning. Giselle is now a patient in the intensive care unit. This is Dominica's fourth road fatality for 2010. Kyrie News will continue to follow this story as police continues with their investigations. In more news, Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett says his government will continue to provide the St. Joseph community with the necessities to deal with some of its problems. He was at the time addressing the 19th inaugural ceremony of the St. Joseph Village Council earlier this week. He told villagers that they should pay special attention to the young and elderly in Dominica.
These are groups of our citizens that we cannot neglect at all. So while the roads are fine and while the structures are fine, let us pay particular attention to the human aspect of development. We need to ensure that while every child has a space at a secondary school, but every child must go through the full 5 years of secondary school and not drop out in second form or first form. Because in this new world, where the entire world has become a small village, we have to ensure that our children are equipped to deal with the challenges that this globalized world, this very difficult world, has provided to us.
He says Dominica should take proactive action and ensure that money spent by government are appreciated.
We have to help and to ensure that when the government spends money in the community, that we appreciate it and we take care of it as if it was ourselves who spend the money in the community. We have to embark on fundraising activities in St. Joseph, sporting activities, to ensure that our people live in a healthy atmosphere and community and environment. We have the Yes We Care program, but the Yes We Care program is not to replace the responsibilities of families.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett. In other news, a new organization has been formed in Wesley aimed at enhancing the tourism product of that community. The organization's members has elected in the interim for a probationary period of 6 months a steering committee with Afinia Benjamin as chairperson, Randy Prosper, deputy chairperson, Georgelyn Africa as secretary-treasurer, publicity consultant Alvin Alexander, and 2 committee members, Patricia McGlaw and Shannon Telemark. The organization will in the interim function to raise funds which would then be turned towards the development of projects and activities in the areas of recognized potential. Afinia Benjamin is chairperson of the committee.
We recently formed a group in Wesley called the Wesley Tourism Improvement Committee, and it's a group that is focused on enhancing the tourism product in Wesley. This group came into being because we realized that tourists are coming to Dominica and we have a tourism package in Wesley that is not utilized. So we are trying to enhance it, and the focus of this group is to do fundraising activities in the village to identify certain areas where we can improve spaces like an area in Wesley called Land. Mr. Randy Prosper brought some individuals there to have a look at the location, and they were quite pleased and surprised at the type of product that we have that is not advertised.
Afinia Benjamin, chairperson of the Wesley Tourism Improvement Committee. Meantime, the committee will later this year host the first ever Radical Jam for Peace, earmarked at reducing the level of tensions among all facets of the community.
We are in the process of also putting together a Jam for Peace, and it is called the Radical Jam for Peace. At meetings that we had, the name Jam for Peace was enhanced by one of the youth we had in the meeting, McAnnie Telemark, and she came up with the name Radical to be added onto the word Jam for Peace. And it's an idea of bringing the youth together and trying to get us to think about ways how we can increase, peace in our society and how the young people can run with it.
The activity will be preceded by a number of consultations and public discussions with strategic focus on youth enhancement and development.
What we plan to do during that session, we will have a formal part of the activity, which will be the first day of the event. And we plan to focus on, areas where we will have lectures in conflict resolution, and we will try to create some mentoring programs where students in our area, and we have a vast variety of professionals in the Wesley community, and we are trying to tap into those resources so we can, build upon. And we would also like to focus on elder appreciation. Most of the areas we will be covering during the Jam for Peace will be lecture series on coping, peace initiatives, how to handle stress, how to handle conflict instead of being violent, how to deal with it in a manner where, we as a community can be stronger.
In other news, Parliamentary Representative for Wesley and Minister of Community Development and Gender Affairs Gloria Shillingford says Dominica can boast of 100 years of local governance. She was at the time addressing the 19th inaugural ceremony of the St. Joseph Village Council held earlier this week. She says over the years, much reform of local governance has taken place and the work is still ongoing.
The objective of these reform measures has always been to empower people at the community level to be responsible for their own development. That is, to participate in decision making and the implementation and execution of programs and projects designed for the development of their communities. Of course, this is not to say that the governance of the communities is to be left solely to the hands of the councils. Indeed not. And you heard much about it from your now chairman and also your parliament. The Ministry of Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs, through the decision of local government and community development, has a well-structured system designed to oversee, assist, and regulate the activities of the 42 local authorities around the country.
That's the local news. Now for a look at your regional and international stories. Trinidad's opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar says her party, the United National Congress, is ready to contest the next general election whenever a date is announced. There is speculation that elections will be held next month. Following the dissolution of Parliament on Thursday, Mrs. Persad-Bissessar says she plans to accelerate talks with other opposition parties to form an alliance that will allow them to have a one-on-one fight against the ruling party. The UNC leader is also urging Prime Minister Patrick Manning to tell the electorate exactly when they will go to the polls. Mr. Manning's decision came one day ahead of an opposition scheduled vote of no confidence against him, a move that the opposition has labeled a cowardly act. Internationally, the death toll from the flooding and mudslides in Brazil's state of Rio de Janeiro has topped 200, officials confirmed today. The death toll stood at 214. The Rio de Janeiro Fire Department has confirmed most of the deaths happened in Niterói, just across the bay from the city of Rio. The fire department has noted that at least 134 people has died there, while 60 has died in the city of Rio de Janeiro. The Rio de Janeiro mayor's office also confirmed more than 200 persons dead. Some 5,000 people have been left homeless from the floods and mudslides, which began with heavy rain on Tuesday, according to the mayor's office. That's the news. Sports comes up next. Golfing champion Tiger Woods continued his strong comeback by breaking par again Friday at cool and breezy Agostia National Golf Club. After opening with a 4-under par 68 on Thursday, he followed with a 70 for a 36-hole score of 6-under 138. Tied for entering Saturday's play, Ian Powler and Lee Westwood shared a lead at 8-under. Feeling comfortable from start to finish, Tiger Woods said his ball striking and putting were better and he was thrilled to be back in the hunt for a 15th green jacket. That's the news. I am Alvin Alexander.